Hello, Peter Pittenger here. I am a teaching assistant at Rockland Bose's in Rockland County, New York, in suburban New York City. I'm also a coach for modified track and field at Nanuet Middle School in Rockland County here. Sorry, that's the bell. We're in between periods here. So a quick introduction into myself and what I do professionally. So my cultural identity or background, what I identify as, obviously I am a white Caucasian male, straight heterosexual male. That is how I identify. My cultural background identity, my family lineage would be of English, Italian, Irish, and a little bit of German descent. So I'm a little bit of everything, broadly European. I actually found out from 23andMe I'm 5% Egyptian, which is kind of cool. So it's always cool to find out like where you're from. That way you can learn more about the cultures, the traditions, and things of that nature, the lifestyles. So yeah, it's just a quick background into who I am and kind of our little introduction here. So I'm just going to be looking back and forth at the questions, by the way. So we have, how do you define health disparities? So when I hear the word disparities, I immediately think like differences between one group and another. So health disparities would be differences between one group and another based on their differences in their health. All right. So health disparities would imply the different health outcomes, the different health statuses, the more probability to disease or illness that one group may have as opposed to another group. Now we have what are social determinants of health. So determinants, what is something determined by? So social meaning interactions, peers, and other stimuli or conditions in our day-to-day life. So a social determinant of health, in my opinion, would just kind of be what you're introduced to every day. Whether it's at your job, school, family, peers, in your neighborhood, how all those things affect your health and health outcomes, health status. So that would just kind of be like a social determinant of health. What you surround yourself with and what you see every day and undergo and engage in, how does that determine your overall health status? So what has been your experience with health disparities? My experience with health disparities might be quite different from others. This kind of ties into my cultural background identity. I would consider a lower middle class person. That's the type of family I came from that lived in an upper middle class town. So we kind of stood out in that sense, that we didn't fit the mold. My mom grew up in the town as when she was younger. And then, I guess my parents obviously bought property there when it was cheaper, and then the town became more affluent. So my health disparities may be a little different growing up in a, upper middle class, predominantly white, Irish, Italian neighborhood where most people had access to health care. They had health insurance. They had good dietary food options. And like I said, they were more affluent and able to access these resources, whereas some other neighborhoods weren't. So my health disparities personally, if I had to describe them, were pretty minimal. I was always covered under health insurance through my parents that were both New York State state workers. And myself being a state worker now and over the age of 26, also have always had health insurance. So my disparities were minimal, and I also didn't have a lot of underlying conditions, diseases, or illnesses. So if I had to be quite honest, I really don't have many health disparities. Obviously, there are different familial health outcomes that could happen in the future. There is a history of cancer in my family, diabetics, right? But that does not personally affect me right now, knock on wood, thankfully. But my personal experience with health disparities is that I've experienced it by witnessing it through other people. And being a teacher, I can definitely notice health disparities as well between my students. So you can see students that are from certain neighborhoods or areas that are more affluent, have more resources, more community programs. They tend to be more healthy individuals, not just physically, but also mentally, socially, emotionally as well. Moving right along, we have, what social determinant of health is most important for you to achieve a good health status? Me personally, I think it's your peer relationships. I think who you engage with daily helps your mental, okay? If you're engaging with people that have risky behaviors and are engaging in illicit drugs or illegal activities or crime, that is going to be a big social determinant that determines your health status, okay? Because it's obviously not conducive